Good afternoon. It is, September 30th, 2020. And I'm Maria Quattrone today on our podcast, Be the Solution. And welcome Jeff Quintin. Welcome, Jeff.
Thanks, Maria. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Jeff is the owner-operator of the Quintin Group. He's based out of Ocean City, New Jersey. And he is doing all things real estate and expanding.
Yeah.
How's everything?
Good. Things are cranking. Things are good right now.
Good.
It's pretty incredible year.
That's great. That's great to hear. 2020, incredible year. What do you attribute that to?
Well, obviously, I think that, the COVID market has helped all of us, right? I mean, we were having a great year already, January, February, and into March, and the last week of March and that last 2 weeks of March, whatever it was, things have slowed down. And, but since then, being in our hub market, which it calls like our primary home market, being a secondary resort market, it's certainly helped us, I think, with COVID, with people, leaving the cities and looking to, if they're going to be quarantined, why not be quarantined near the beach or in their secondary home, or if they've ever thought of wanting to get a secondary home, that it's the time to do it. So it's certainly helped us. So it's been a pretty strong market, just like many markets around there at the shore. What we call as the shore, we service between Brigantine and Cape May, and then all of the inland areas as well. Inventory is as low as it's ever been.
How many months?
92. Every market's different, but like Ocean City is about 2.5 supply. The strongest market at the shore points is Sea Isle. There's less than a month supply in Sea Isle. I mean, literally.
Why is that?
It's crazy. I mean, Sea Isle's been in one of the strongest, the secondary resort markets for probably last 5, 6, 7 years. I mean, it's just been super strong, low inventory as it was. And then with COVID, it's even gotten stronger. Home there that you might have purchased, in say 18 or 19 for $800,000. Today it's worth $1.2 million. Literally that quick and that much appreciation. New construction's going through the roof. We're talking about less than 40 units in the whole entire island that are for sale. And there's been about 39 or so sold last month, and 20 new listings came on. That's just Sea Isle, for example. So very, 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 very tight market right now. Why? It's a secondary resort market. The design of that island has larger lot sizes on 50-foot wide or 50 by 110-foot lots. So a little different than other shore points. So there, most of what's prominent is side-by-side units, like townhouses that are very large. And I think that's a little bit more desirable than the up and downs that we sell like in Ocean City. And then then that's the price point which you can get in versus Avalon or Stone Harbor, where the average price is going to be double or triple of what Sea Isle would be. So it's very strong. That market's good for sure.
So you're seeing a lot of people coming from New York, Philadelphia, Delaware. Where are they coming from?
Yeah, I mean, our feeder market's always been the greater Philadelphia area market. Anything that's within, 60 to 90 miles away, within a good, hour and a half to 2 hour driving distance. However, we have seen a much greater influx of New York coming here more. They're coming more south.
I heard they were going to Cape May. Is that true?
Yeah, Cape May, for sure. Cape May, and Cape May is even getting stuff, even getting clients north, which they've always had, meaning from coming up from Delaware, just taking the ferry over. Cape May is a feeder market even from Virginia, believe it or not, and Maryland, so it's just it's a cool, quaint, town. But yeah, no, we're seeing a little bit more spread out. The feeder markets are coming in. Our primary home market's still the greater Philadelphia, more or less area, that the Cherry Hill market in Jersey, and then the Philly and suburbs market. So that hasn't changed a lot. It's just more people are staying, are coming to the shore, and there's now staying now. So for example, the high school itself had about 100 to 150 kids, about 120 probably total new enrollments this year from students coming in. So we're seeing more people stay here year round and getting their kids in the school system.
Yeah, why not? Great school.
Yeah.
Great school, and
Sure.
a great town to live in, Ocean City. You're born and raised there, right?
Not born, but ultimately raised. Yeah, I mean, I've been here over, gosh, I don't know, what am I, about 40 some years now.
Okay,
Yeah.
well that's a while.
It's a long time. Yeah.
So you really know that market there. You're like You're like the oldest, probably real estate agent there.
Yeah, I started. So I started in '92, right? So I started in
Yes,
'92. And,
right out of high school, right?
right, yeah, I was in high school, and right out of high school, I had a job that I got at while I was in high school at a bank, in a local bank, and at the time they hired me as like I was in the loan department, filing and doing things with loans and just a clerical kind of stuff, which is upstairs, like in the executive offices above the tellers and where the whole lobby was. So ultimately, I didn't like being in a kind of a closed-in cubicle type of style, above, office. So a job came up as an opportunity as a bank teller for the drive-through. And the drive-through window used to be hot, right? That's where everybody went. Like that's like, it was like the spot to go. Yeah. It was just everyone just line up. So super busy. But in the meantime, what inspired me was I got to meet a lot of realtors. I meet many of the brokers in town. I was cashing their checks. I look at my check that was $300. I look at their check that's $3,000, and it would say like commission. And I would say to myself, "Gosh, if this guy can do it, I can do it." And that inspired me to get a real estate license. And then I just went right into real estate directly. 19 years old, right out of high school.
I love it.
Yeah.
I bet a lot of people wish they would have done that right out of high school.
Yeah, I mean, it's been obviously been very rewarding for me. It's been, gosh, I mean, the good news is that I've doing it 28 years, but where things are today, I feel more energized and more excited with where the direction of our team has gone and my direction as a leader and that whole thought around who and what I've become, I guess, or becoming. So I still enjoy it. I still really enjoy it and still continue to be inspired every day. So
what does your team and company look like today, Jeff?
So at our hub, it's grown. It's not super huge as some of the big teams that are out there. We have about 7 or 8 agents that are sales agents. We have 2 administrative staff that are local. We have 4 VAs, virtual assistants in the Philippines that back us up. And then we've expanded outside of the hub into the Cherry Hill area with agents there. I have an agent starting actually tomorrow in Jupiter, Florida. And then our most recent biggest in Florida, in Jupiter, Florida.
Why there?
So it was an agent from here that moved there and decided that, hey, I'm moving to Florida and I'd like to be part of an expansion partner with you and expand your business there. We previously were in Florida. We were in Sarasota and Fort Lauderdale with agents, and we shut those down about a year or 2 ago with them. So we've been there before, but now we have a new good agent that can lead us there and build something. And then, more recently last year in September, we acquired a sales team of another full-on independent company in the Outer Banks, and we brought them in, the Keller Williams through the Quinton Group, and where we had about 21 agents operating in the Outer Banks, North Carolina. And then so we ran with them for a whole year. Then we recently just transitioned them into the KW as independent agents. And we still have a couple agents working there, but we're rebuilding that different model now. So we've done a lot of expansion outside of our normal home market. We've actually had agents in the Center City before, and so we've gone out, we've done certain areas, and we've failed in certain areas. We've been successful in certain areas.
What are you learning from all that?
So when it comes to expansion, obviously you got to make sure that your home base is able to handle where you can take your existing business, your systems, your operations, your lead generation, and just basically take what you have and go to another location, right? And then if you have the right individual, they can just take what you already have and plug and play over there. Some of the things you've learned in that is that if you're going to go on a location, don't just go with one person. You got to go with 2 or more. In case one bounces out, then you have a backup to be able to support all of the stuff you've done. If you go with one and one bounces out for some reason, then you've launched in the area, built something up, and you don't have anybody there to take it over. So you got to go with more than one. It also depends. You got to have a leader. You got to have a leader in that location, someone that leader mindset. You got to have someone that's self-managed because you're not going to see them every day, right? It's not like your team now where you see your sales agents and your staff and everyone you communicate to a lot, and you can plug and play and give them a high five, each day. You're not going to have that opportunity to do that when somebody's, 1,000 miles away or just even 60 miles away, right? So you need somebody to self-manage. Sorry?
It's a completely different thing.
Yeah, for sure.
But you gotta have them into your culture too.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta have everyone, like, that is aligned with your core values and your mission and be aligned to the direction of where the team is going for sure.
So what's on the horizon for this year? What things have you said you had a great year? So what things have you accomplished that you're excited about?
I'm excited about, some things that we've done a little different this year, is for our team itself, I've locally and even expansion, I've always said, I don't want to bring on any new agents, right? And I want to experienced agents, or not so much experience, but someone who's been in the business, let's say 12 months or 2 years, that have done at least, 12 transactions in the first year, maybe 10 to 12. Someone that, we ultimately don't have to train them how to log into the MLS, right? Like someone who's got a little bit of a basic.
They know how to write a contract.
Yeah, they know that basics, right? And yet my philosophy's changed a little bit now where I'm saying, okay, if I can get the right the right people coming maybe from a different industry, and we can really, really spend some time and train them over the next 6 months, we're shifting to bring on newer agents or newly licensed agents that are the right fit. And we're seeing some great traction on that already. And
hospitality.
It takes some time to train them, get them in, but I think it's building that bench for longer term. And, so we're looking at that model now differently than we did before. So we're excited about that for sure. We're excited about, our shore market and expanding locally here even greater in all the cities that we have the opportunity to work in from. We have offices from Cape May down, or from basically Avalon down to Brigantine. But being able to expand in those offices with other agents and building teams there, and pods basically is what we're looking to really do. Even though we service that now, like we all of our agents service that areas now, but ultimately the goal is to have set up existing teams that actually exist in those offices.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So.
And you have people that really, really are ingrained in the area, maybe probably live there, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
The marketplace. That sounds like fun. So, Jeff, I know one of the things about you is you are a marketing ninja. You do a lot of really cool stuff. Actually, I get the emails from Frank.
Yeah, that's awesome. Perfect.
Yep. So, what are some things that you're doing right now that have really, over the last maybe 6 months or a year or longer, have really helped shape and change your business?
Well, I mean, we're still doing everything we've always done. We're very prospecting based, marketing enhanced. So marketing hasn't always been our primary focus. It's been more prospecting outbound, calls and to our database and building our database. And having those conversations and cementing those relationships, but being more proactive in that. So we're still doing that. The marketing side, we've implemented a lot of different strategy through text messaging, into our database, emails, and so forth, which is, it's still working, but it's a little less than text messaging.
You're text messaging people directly, buyers, sellers,
our database. Yeah, we'll text message them, and our virtual assistants are continuing to do that for us on a daily basis. So we might send out between 500 and 5,000 text messages a day. So what we're noticing is 93% of people will respond on text. Really, only 13% of people are open up emails. So the text messaging portion of our business and opportunity in such ways is something we really implemented. So one of the things that I'll just share is, and when it comes to my goals each day or each thought that I have is, how do I generate 100 seller inbound leads a day, right? So whereby, how do we get a seller to raise their hand to create 100? Yeah.
A day?
100 a day. Yeah. That's the goal. That's the goal. And that's the idea, right? That's the mindset behind it. How do we create that on a daily basis, right?
How do you service that?
Well, I mean, so let's, seller inbound leads, right? So,
I'm just saying, literally talking to those people.
Yeah. So there's a lot of ways to do it, right? But ultimately, when I say lead, how about just 100 seller replies, right? And it may not be a lead, but at least get them to raise their hand where we can actually engage in them. Even if they call us and say, please take me off your list or put me on your do not call list or whatever. I'm already, I already have an agent, whatever it may be. at least gives us the opportunity as a scripted agent to better reply back to get them somehow to engage with us. But the goal is to be able to get them to reply. So I'm not saying the leads itself, but we play that game, or at least I play that game all the time.
100. So what are you getting every day?
Every day. So what we'll do. I mean, like today, I've got one of my agents on my team. I went into his. We use a Real Geeks platform, so all of his leads are in Real Geeks, and he's got about 2,800 leads that are in there. And I just went and stored them.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So it's databases, leads, everything in there. So he's got a crap ton. And then so what we're doing is we'll take and sort them between buyer and seller. We'll take out the ones that are actively listed. We'll take or under contract. So we have a solid list of who's in there, who may be active in the site or always searching, and we'll send some text messages to them, right? Like another home just sold that may have affected their value. We'll do like an updated valuation, right? And then ultimately they might text back, sure, and that allows us to get engaged with them and give them an updated valuation. A text message might be that hey. Buyer demand is super high and inventory is super low. At what price makes you a seller, right? And they write back, a number. Well, it gives us an opportunity to engage them. So if you have 1,000 sellers in your database, let's say, or homeowners, and you start blasting these type of text out, that's a creative way that you're going to get a positive response. That's what we're getting back. So I don't know. I probably got at least 20 so far today. That we're sending back to the agent that owns the lead. But we're creating that for them, and we're doing those things. So
that's great.
Yeah. So we're, that kind of stuff, because our whole, right now inventory is so low, right? So our whole focus is how do we create more opportunity for us to get leads, right? Or seller leads, listings, right now. So our whole entire focus on the marketing side is for and towards that, nothing else, right? So that kind of stuff is working. That's working really well for us right now.
That's awesome. And you have the VAs do it?
Yeah, so we have four virtual assistants in the background, and we have one that's kind of the head VA, and then she has her two under her. She kind of manages these projects. So but we'll even take a whether it's a condominium association or a group or a membership, whatever it may be, of some sort of database that we have, and we'll send a text message to that, like we just listed a unit at blank, coming soon, or it won't last. Who do you know interested? And, create those opportunities there. And then we'll send back out, hey, that unit, if we sold one, we'll send back out that unit just sold 3 offers, 75,000 above list. Curious what price makes you a seller, right? So just creating that buzz, but a lot of it through texting, a lot of it, We're using different systems as well. We're using Contact Junkie, which is another system that I have that allows multiple, communication through text, email, and voicemail drops. So we're loading those in, and we're probably getting between 30 and 50 responses a day out of that. So just additionally to what we're already doing, this is like the icing on it, right? But it's creating opportunities from our current clients and our current database that we already have, and just going a little bit deeper.
Going deeper with them,
Yeah.
figure out. So now I have a question about the sellers in your market. Are they buying another house?
Some are. Yep. Some are upgrading. It's an opportunity right now for them to get an incredible price, take the equity they have, buy up. Yes, they're going to spend a little bit more, but interest rates being as low as they are, if they're going to finance it, their payments are similar. So the upgrade buyer is a huge opportunity right now.
Is the second home buyer an upgrade buyer as well?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, we do a ton of upgrade buyers. Start as a 3-bedroom, then they go to a 4. Or they start 3 blocks back from the beach, and they want to get on the beach, or whatever. So there's a lot of move up, but there's a lot of that, and then there's some that are just saying, what, I've waited. I paid $700,000 for a unit in 2006, and we haven't gotten close to even getting back even. We've waited for 10 years, and finally now we can get out. And then I'm going to sell because the market's now finally gotten to a place where, again, every market's different. But I can sell. Some are just cashing out right now and taking and going on the sidelines.
Right.
It's a mixture, but there's definitely some volume. The problem is it's still like most markets. Inventory is super low. I mean, we're at the absolute lowest we've ever been, ever. I mean, well, at least in the past 28 years that I've been around doing this. It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, not quite the same here
Yeah.
in downtown Center City, Philadelphia.
Inventory starting to come on.
Inventory is starting to climb,
Is it?
especially in the higher end of the marketplace.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the 2 million and up market is
It's dead. Yeah.
30 months. That's without shadow inventory
Yeah.
of new buildings coming online.
Yeah.
And over 1 million, it's at like about 13 months right
Wow.
now.
It's changed a bunch.
A ton of inventory got dumped in the market in August, and
Wow.
it's still coming.
Yeah, definitely
So-
opposite here. Even our high end has been super strong.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy? It's like consumers hear the news and they think everything in the whole world is selling. Well, in the urban cities where you have all kinds of stuff happening, protesting, crime, all kinds of crap going on, people decide if they were already thinking of, they're on the fence about maybe moving to the burbs or to the shore or wherever. This kind of was the thing that put them over the edge.
Yeah.
And, people live in town so that they can go to things and concerts and theater and, nothing's open. I mean, we're like a mini New York. Look at New York right now. It's horrendous.
Yeah.
It'll come back. I think it's going to take a long time though.
Mm-hmm.
I counted on the other day on Walnut Street here. You said you were in the city the other day at Park. So I counted, there were 15 vacant properties on 16 and 1700 block of Walnut Street.
Yeah.
Commercial.
Yeah, commercials and storefronts. Yeah, I know.
And two blocks.
Yeah,
the highest expensive rent.
It's terrible. I know.
So New York is 10 times worse than that.
I know. It's
They're
terrible.
pulling out. I mean, you don't have rent on the building. It doesn't take too long to figure out if the value of the buildings decrease, right? If there's no rental income. What does that do to the overall marketplace? So,
Right.
yeah, I mean, I'm staring at this as very real, and I'm taking this very, very seriously, because if somebody needs to sell now and they think it's going to get better later, they may make even less. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and their equities in the house, they got to pull it out today. And what I call make the market. Anything will sell in any market if you make the market. It has to be glaringly knocking things over here. The best value in order to be the next one sold. If there's too much inventory, you know what happens. They do nothing because they can't make a decision because they have too many things to decide, too many opportunities.
For sure.
So it's like the tale of two markets. You got Sure. I want to come down there, Jeff, and work with you.
Come on down. Come on down. Come on down, Q.
Oh, man. Oh, my God. It's so crazy.
Yeah, it is.
It's so crazy. So, this podcast will go out to a lot of agents. We have a grouping about 8,500. It'll go out to.
That's awesome.
And so, what are some things? Not everybody's setting the world on fire, Jeff. They're not like you and me. So, what are some things like some agents can do right now to change? Because right now you're working on closing out what you got going for 2020, and you're really starting to go for 2021.
Yeah.
What advice would you give?
Well, I guess, there's a lot of advice, a lot of thoughts behind that. I mean, in other words, right now, all our focus is on 2021, right? Because what we've already done, we've done for 2020. We're entering now, it's starting tomorrow, the fourth quarter. What we create in the next 90 days will help us pay off January, February, March. So yeah, can we get some deals that will still write and close this year? Of course. But the activities and the thoughts and what we're going to implement and the action steps in the next 90 days will determine how our first quarter is going to be next year. So it's really about,
100%.
planning, right? Being able to get real about that. Some of the questions I think that they might want to ask is, what did I do exceptionally well this year? Like really get focused on what I did well. Next question is, what do I need to improve upon? I think one of the best exercises to do, which we do this time of year, is the 4 quadrants. So here are the 4 quadrants to think of. You basically take a vertical line and you draw it down the middle of a piece of paper, and then you just do a horizontal line. You make a plus sign. And at the left-hand corner at the top, you basically write in there, stop doing. And then the next one over to the right of that, you do start doing. And below that next corner on the left, you do less of. And in the other corner at the bottom right, you do more of. So you start to look at the 4 quadrants. You say, okay, what do I need to stop doing right now? Absolutely know that this is not something I should ever do ever again. I can delegate it. I can outsource it. Or maybe it's a bad habit, right? And start listing those stop doing. You list less of. What do I know that's not really helping my business or helping me right now? I need to do less of. I can still do it, but I don't need to do it as much. Get clear on that. And then the next 2 columns is start, like stop, start, and more of, right? So the start. What have I always wanted to do in my business? What I've always wanted to do to get started? What's that one thing I want to implement? And get clear on that. And then what do I need to do more of that I've already been doing that's working well? That I know that I need to do more of that will generate more of a better result. But the reason I'm doing more of that is I'm getting distracted from something else, or I can't do more of that. So you have these 4 quadrants, the start, the stop, the less of, and the more. And ultimately, that creates a new job description, right? Under the start and more of, that's the new you. And then the stop and the less of becomes delegated to somebody else, right? That's the way our mind thinks. Like, how can I get rid of that shit off my plate and get over here where I need to spend my time that matters the most and creates the most income? So if agents can kind of just get focused on that and then put their time into things that matter the most, and then outside of that, build a schedule that's going to be around of those activities, right? And start to just concentrate on those things. And all of a sudden, if they work on those that will generate them income, then it's going to help their business. We think about basically the word plans, right? So it's PLANS. And these are the 5 basic things that an agent, I believe, that needs to do and only do. Number 1 is P is prospect, right? Prospect, that's lead generation, going out and having 2-way conversation each day, generating leads in business, right? Number 2 is lead follow-up. That's the L. Lead follow-up, I got to follow up with my leads. I got to have a system on how I'm going to do that. So the bad leads aren't getting covered or the good ones aren't getting covered by the bad. I have a system I'm going to follow up, because follow-up is the name of the game. Next to A is appointments. I need to go visit people. I need to be on appointments. I need to present, right, to get a contract signed. Lastly, or the last plan, or N, is negotiate, right? I need to be negotiating. I need to have negotiating skills and how to do that. And the last S for plans is just working on your skills. It's a skill-based business. Agents like you and I, we've been doing it for a while. Our skills are getting greater and greater. Our teams are getting larger and larger. A team is taking over more and more. The solo agent itself is struggling. The agent that doesn't have skills, unfortunately, they're going to be out of the business, because 5% of the agents are selling 95% of the homes, right? Or even less than that. 10, 15 years ago was the 80-20 rule. That's shrinking, right? So, you can look at it in any market and say, look at the top 20 agents in any market. They sell most of all the homes. But they're skilled. They're skilled. And that's what agents need to work on. So I just kind of sum that up really quickly and give a lot of stuff. But that's some of the things I think that if they can focus on, and they do it, they got to do the activities for a strong 90 days. Like, they can't let up. It's like anything. Like, if you're working out or whatever habit you want, do it for 90 straight days. And if you can hang in there, the activity will pay off and start the momentum right away.
So Christen asked Jeff, how does Jeff minimize distractions? And I think this is a good question leading from this.
Well, I think you minimize distractions first by understanding your priorities, right? So first you have to identify what's most important, where I need to be spending my time, because anything outside of that becomes a distraction. So it's getting clear on what that looks like, right, for you. Secondly, you need to have a schedule around that's a disciplined enough schedule that's booby-trapped and built in a way that your distractions, whatever those are for you, are protected, right? You need to create a moat around that for some way. So one is, what are the distractions for you, right? What your distractions are for you may be different from me. For example, are you working from home, right? Like, I'm at home right now. Is one of the distractions could be that, any of my daughters could walk in here at any moment and say, hey, Dad, I need you, or whatever, or, whatever it may be. That could be a distraction if I'm trying to prospect or I'm on the phone or I'm doing this right now. You need to create the environment around you if it's a physical distraction, right? So there's so many ways that you can do that. So number one is you create a schedule. You create a schedule that says, I'm going to be having blinders right now, like right here. I'm going to do this activity and do this activity only. Anything that may distract me, I'm going to have systems set up. So if it's a schedule and says, I need to lead generate every day from 9 to noon, well, create that schedule 9 to noon and give it to whomever's going to distract you, right? Or whatever it's going to be. So if that's your husband, your wife, your brother, your sister, your kids, you need to say to them, this is what I'm doing right now, Monday through Friday between 9 and noon. You are not to interrupt me. You're not to distract me. Okay. And give them that and say, and here's the reason why. I'm doing this activity, and if we do this activity, this is what it's going to create for our family. This is the results it provides. But every time you distract me, it pulls us away from being able to go to do whatever, right? So be able to get some benefit or create some type of connection, link the two together between the activities, distraction to what, to the benefit it gives. So creating that around you. So like, for example, if you were to call my office, listen to my voicemail, whether it's my cell phone or the office greeting, it's going to say, hey, every day, hey, this is Jeff. Sorry, I'm out on an appointment right now between 12 and noon. Leave in month number after 12, and I'll return your call, right? So I'm tied up. I have an appointment. I schedule that in. It's an appointment. You will not get me from 9 to 12. If you are a seller of mine and I'm sitting down at the listing presentation, I'm going to hand that seller my schedule and say, I just want to let you know what my days look like. If you need something between 9 and noon, you won't get me. I'm prospecting for buyers for your home. That's the activities I do. I set aside that every day, so I'm not distracted. But if you need help, my listing manager will help you. This is the person you need to call during that time. Like I tell them straight up, imagine if you were a surgeon, and your patients, you might tell them, I do surgeries right now every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 9 to 12. I've got them scheduled back to back on the hour. I do my rounds on, in the afternoons or on Tuesdays and Thursdays. That's when I can see you. Otherwise, I'm in surgery. You're not going to, the surgeon's not going to be interrupted because his cell phone rings or her cell phone rings at 10 o'clock in the morning when they're doing a cut, right? They're just not going to do that. So we need to treat it the same way.
100%.
Our schedule just needs to be, it has to be so important that nothing else, no client, no situation, nothing in your world becomes more important than following your calendar and your schedule.
It's crazy that when you follow your schedule for so long, the same schedule, that it would be weird. It would feel weird if you didn't do it. You would be like, wait, right? Because that's it. You don't even think about it. You don't think about, here's my schedule. This is what I do.
Yep.
I work on a calendar. I work by a calendar. I work all my calls by a calendar. I'm not randomly calling my clients. I have a client. Call you at 2 o'clock on Thursday, 2 o'clock on Tuesday, whatever.
Yeah. It's just like brushing your teeth, right?
Yeah.
You woke up in the morning, you didn't brush your teeth. If you didn't brush your teeth every day, what would your life be like? What would each day be like? It'd feel weird.
Pretty gross.
Right. And that's what's got, and that unfortunately, but that comes a habit, right? You do it, and all of a sudden, if you don't have it that way, and people, have said to me, oh my God, you're so disciplined. You're so robotic. You're so this, you're so that. Well, true. And it's true because I do the same thing every day. I've become, and our team's the same way. We become very, used to being in the repetitious boredom. It's boring doing the same thing, but we've mastered that, right? And the repetition of it. But we understand that, discipline, though, if we do that, actually isn't discipline. It actually creates freedom because it opens things up and creates other opportunity. And the opportunities it brings from having the discipline is a lot greater than not doing it at all. So just some ideas.
It's like I always say, when things aren't going well, go back to the basics. The basics are the premise of everything. If you're not doing the basics, you can't do the other stuff.
It's true.
Like you can't put the cart before the horse.
It's hard. We all got into this business as real estate agents, as independent contractors. And the reason why you sit down with an agent and say, so tell me what's most important to you about getting into real estate. Oh, I want to be my own boss. I want to, I want to be able to come and go as I please. I want to, I don't want to have to work these long hours, or I want to choose my own hours, or, I don't want to report to anybody, or, it's all of this freedom world. And exactly the reasons why agents want to get into the business are the exact same reasons why they're failing out of the business. And it's the agents that are succeeding are not looking at it that way. They're looking at it, this is a real deal. This is a real job. It's a career. I have to do certain activities, and I'm willing to be focused on those activities and have, the accountability around it, whether with someone else or themselves, of showing up at a certain time and not having that freedom, right? And all of a sudden, that's the most productive agents that are out there.
Well, you're a business owner. You're a small business owner. And I think it's really, really tough today, Jeff, for the independent agent.
Oh, gosh.
I mean, look, you've been in the business a lot longer than I've been in for 16 years. But I walked in the business, I'll never forget, is in 2004 in March. And I said, this is the stupidest business I've ever seen in my life. How does one person do all these things in a real estate transaction? I'm supposed to write the description, get the pictures, get the sign, do the contract, negotiate the inspection, contract to close, do the marketing, do the social media, all this stuff. It's not even, first of all, I'm only good at like one or two things. And outside of that, I suck.
Exactly.
So outside of like negotiating, presenting, and networking, calling people, whatever. Anything else? Well, marketing. I do marketing. I'm in charge of marketing.
Sure.
But outside of that, forget it. I'm horrible. You should see the desk. I got stuff everywhere, and I just organized it.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy. It's crazy business. So if you're spinning and trying to do all those and wear all those hats, like we said, is if you're doing the activities that don't really produce income, you need to hire an assistant at some point, or you're going to be your own assistant. That $15 an hour person is what you end up doing those activities. Right. So,
or join a team. Join your team.
It's interesting because I've asked this a lot, and you are too, I'm sure. People have said to me, if you were to get in real estate again today, what would you do? Would you be a solo, or would you go to a team? And I believe me, I've thought of actually moving literally and having an East Coast business and a West Coast business, moving to California, Southern California, and have two bi-coastal, teams running, right? And it's still a thought. Not so much California now. It's the laws, and my wife isn't digging it. But ultimately, what a great place to be, right? Love Southern California. But I've always said, I would if I started all over again, or expand, or go somewhere else. I would join a team. Like I would do is go find the number one agent in that marketplace that has the same core values and mission and jive with. Go on their team, learn as much as you can from that team owner. Stay at that team, make money, learn, accelerate your learning process. Look and see, is there a career path for me to stay on that team, an opportunity to grow? If there is, I stay and help build it with the team owner. If there isn't, then I bounce and go do it on my own, right? But you got to, if I was starting new, I would go, that's what I would do. And if there's opportunity to stay, you stay on the damn team. Why not?
I agree with you. I thought before few years back, several years back actually now, but I wanted to live in New York. And I was like, if I was to do that, I would totally 100% join a team. 100%. I had like two people picked out that I wanted to call, but I would do exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
That was the thought process.
And I would look for that. And if it doesn't work out after 3, 4, 5 years because there's no opportunity to grow or whatever, then you start your own. If that's what you want to do. If that's anyone who comes on our team right now, we give them a full-on career path from day one until taking over my role. They can take over my role any day if they want. They earn into it, right? But there's a freaking career path on growth and the direction they can go, where they can create other income streams in addition to just being a salesperson, or grow out of being a salesperson, being a leader, right? There's a career path to get there. There's a 5-year millionaire plan set in place. If they want to earn $1 million, I've got a way they can make $1 million on my team, right? I got one guy that's getting there. He'll make over 300, maybe 350 this year on a team, right? And he's 30 years old, by the way. Okay, I mean, if he continues to go in the direction and path in the next 5 years, he'll be make $1 million. So he would be nuts. It would be nuts to leave. So, but there's a path for him. So anyway,
it's about having a career path. You give people options. What they want to do, they can do as much as they want. I'm sure you have minimum standards of minimums that you need to do to stay on the team.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's not
Right.
easy. I mean, being on a team isn't an easy thing. It's it's a proven, like your team. We come on your team. There's a proven method of way you guys are doing and how successful you are. There's proven and duplicatable processes and systems in place and accountability around that. If you do these certain things, we can predict you want to make 100 grand your first year. We know how to get you there as long as you're willing to do the work, right? We'll give you the support. We'll give you the resources and the tools to get you there, but you got to do the work, right? Your coach, you train you, mentor you, to get there. You have that. And most successful team owners like us have that. So being solo today, man, geez, it's tough. I think, unless you want to be a part-time agent, just come and go and be mediocre and just do a few deals here and there. That's just fine. That's not even a career. That's a hobby.
Right.
If you're going to be a hobby agent, and then you shouldn't be on the team.
No, hobby agent is fine. Unfortunately, we don't want to deal with the hobby agents because it's not fun for a transaction for anybody.
Right. True.
Right.
True.
That's kind of, now we're doing all their work.
Correct.
That's what we see. I mean, we get contracts. I can't even believe the way they come in still. I mean, the staff chases down people, spends time just chasing people down for proper agreements of sale.
I can't believe in this market now, again, in our market here, almost, I would say 70% of the listings that we're selling right now, or on the buy side, I mean, literally, if we have 10 transactions, 7 of them are going to be with multiple transactions, whether they're multiple transactions on our listing or representing the buyer, where we're going to, go and represent the buyer, but on the other deal, on that listing, there's multiple offers, right? So there's a ton of multiple offers. So strategizing around how to win in multiple offers has been a big deal. And these solo agents, without any guidance or understanding it, are losing over and over and over. We have a situation just literally up until yesterday, a property that we listed last Wednesday for $329, small little condo. We put it on the market. We had 3 offers. Sunday night, it went to highest and best. It sold at that point at like $360, and then the buyers are going to give 10 grand in furniture outside of the deal. So it's like $370 was the total deal. So long story short, this is our market. Highest and best. Seller agrees to that deal. The agent sends over the agreement of sale. The seller signs it. Well, in New Jersey, there's a 3-day attorney review. So in Jersey, the deal doesn't become bonded until 3 business days. So you have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right, until today. And then it becomes bonded. Well, they didn't do an attorney prepared agreement, meaning they didn't waive that 3-day review. But if they have an attorney prepare it, then it's a bonded deal. So here you go. On Monday, all of a sudden, the buyer, one buyer who didn't get the deal, comes back around and goes, I know I didn't get the deal in the highest and best, but is it attorney prepared? And we had to say, no, it's not. It's in 3-day review. So that buyer comes back, offers $375 plus $10,000 in furniture. Call the seller up and say, we got you even more money right now. We got you another, whatever it was, 20 grand more. And what do you want to do? And he goes, I like that buyer better because there's no contingencies and all this other stuff from the agreement. I'm going to cancel the first one, go with the second one. What, do you want to give that person a shot? He said, no, I don't want to give them a shot. They already had their shot, but ultimately this deal's better and I don't want to screw around. Canceled the first deal, took the second one now during a 3-day review. Second one was attorney prepared. It's done. It's over. That agent right now is just really upset and pissed off. And yet the problem is it's a newer agent that just doesn't have any experience to know or had any guidance that someone didn't tell them, this is what you need to do in multiple offer situations. So unfortunately, she now put her client at a bad position that lost the property, right? And this is the type of stuff that, working on a team and working with someone like ourselves that have a long amount of experience, especially in these markets like this, can help agents, make a living at a higher level, right? So anyway, I'm just sharing.
Being a buyer's agent is tough in a market market like that, because you're writing offers and they're not getting accepted. And there's some houses, there's 20 offers on, especially here in the burbs that are under 500. It's like 20 offers, 30 offers, right? Being a buyer's agent. If you're not listing agent, you're a buyer's agent, you better be on a team.
Well, that's true. And we always talk about, when we train in our team, there's 2 types of agents, or, there's 2 types in the market. There's the there's the employer and the employee. And, in typical business, who earns more money, the employer or the employee? Well, normally it would be the employer, right? And it's the same thing as being a listing agent. When you're a listing agent and you learn the skills, how to go out and list property properly and list them right and do it in high volume, you're the employer. You're actually, your employees become all the realtors in the community or in your MLS. They're actually working for you, And when you get a listing right now and you get 20 offers on it, that's money in the bank. That is ultimately, that's a paycheck all day, every day, right? But, you got to learn the skills to understand how to get listings. Because, if a solo agent or a newer agent right now tries to go up against URI in a listing presentation, they're not, no luck. See you later. It's over. Game over, right? But being on the buy side with multiple offers, you got to know how to win. And there's a ton of different strategies behind that to position you right, in front of the seller to pick yours versus someone else. But a lot of agents, the newer agents solo agents will get that experience, right now. So,
right. When you've done thousands and thousands and thousands of transactions and people on your team, your contract manager, your listing they've done thousands of transactions. You have people that have, we have a probably combined experience of like 70 years over here.
Oh, yeah, yeah, exactly.
That goes a long way. And we've seen it all, right? We've seen all these different things that have come up over different deals, and you know how to navigate the waters, and you can navigate the clients through. You can, and preparing them in advance, future pacing them about what's going to happen or what can happen. And this way, at the end of it, you have happy people involved because you've given them the information up front.
So true.
And that's really about experience. And, people said, I had some weird things. Like, I don't know if you've heard this, when COVID we were shut down here, for 60 days. That was a lot of fun. That's how I decided to do Be the Solution podcast, because how to be the solution.
I love it. Yeah, this is awesome.
And so I remember some people agents saying, well, now it's a level playing field. And I thought, really? No, you can't take away the experience. Like, the 16 years just didn't go poof by.
Right.
In fact, for me, like, I got into business and excelled very quickly because I paid my dues in the first business, which was radio sales.
Mm-hmm.
And I door knocked literally business owners back then. And then when I was 10, I was selling wrapping paper and Christmas cards door to door, 10 years old. Knock, knock, knock. I have a brochure. My brochure. Would you like to buy?
Yeah.
I get $1 for every one I sold.
That's awesome. But you got experience. You got experience. Right. Experienced how to generate and even the rejection side. You experienced that.
Yeah. Who cares? I always tell them, who cares?
Right.
Right. It's good. I said, oh, you don't want to be my friend? Unfriend me, because I have 333 people right now that want to be my friend. Not a problem. And I sincerely mean it. Like, I'm good. If no emotion, all good.
Yeah.
Right. Same thing within real estate.
Yeah.
You got to have fun with it, Jeff. I know you like to have fun.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right. You still have expired listings down there, even though you're in a crazy market?
We still have expireds. We still have, expired. Not a lot of them, but not as much. Like tonight, like as of tomorrow, there'll be a bunch because the 30th, but it won't be a ton. There's, in all the markets we work in, from the last 6 months, there's over 2,200 expireds that haven't relisted. So, the old expired market, even 6 months, 12 months, 13, 12 months, 1 year, 2 year, whatever it is, there's a crap ton of business to be made in there. And most of the reasons why they expired was they're overpriced. But today down here in our market, an overpriced listing 6 months ago is a great price today or better. So having those conversations in the old expireds right now is huge for us. So that's one of the areas we're working in.
Yeah.
For sure.
Overpriced, undermarketed, positioned improperly.
Correct.
Sometimes it only needs a tweak, though, in the pricing. Is what a tweak, but positioning properly to the market and really pushing out the proper marketing. which
That's right.
is not I'd say 90% of the time is done incorrectly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
You can see all these listings, 3D tours, crappy pictures with the cell phone. I can't. Like, it's shocking in 2020. But marketing, social media, video, like this video, reaching
For
people,
sure. Yeah.
right? Building, because this video, there's going to be a lot of people that'll watch it, Jeff, that'll buyers, sellers, agents, like how you do your business. You're so successful at what you do. You've been a rock star for God forever. I remember Mike Ferry days.
No, I used to be the young guy, like in the room. Shit, now I'm the old man. I'm the veteran. Jesus.
You still look like a young guy, Jeff.
Yeah, right.
You still look like a young guy.
But you know what's interesting is none of the the basics that we started in is still the basics today.
Still the same thing.
There's still there's still success principles that still work. Now you certainly have some things that you can enhance on with video, social media, and positioning things that properties and yourself that way. But the basics of learning what to say and how to say things, being scripted and having a great presentation and, learning the objection handlers and, be able to overcome the rejection or objections that are there and handle those. That shit is never going out of style, ever. And it hasn't. It's been the same way 50 years ago. It's going to be the same way 50 years from now. And having communication, right? We're still in the communication business, helping people solve problems, right? That's what we do. Give them solutions.
Be the solution. Be in the solution.
Yeah,
that is exactly what we do. Yeah. And I'd say right now, especially with the emotions running high with COVID, people need communication.
Yes.
And I think you can never over communicate. In fact, I'm like revamping a bunch of things just to be like, how do you create that Four Seasons Ritz-Carlton experience in real estate? And changing some of the things that we're doing so that it's way better than ever.
Yeah.
And COVID was part of that.
For sure.
It brought that out because, people really want to move right now. They want to get more than ever. It's I don't know. It's more serious, I feel like, now than ever.
It is. It's, there's a lot of it's gotten better, but there's still a lot of uncertainty out there in the world. There's a lot of fear still going on. This market's all driven by that. So if you can still be the solution, you can be the calming voice, you can be the one of the resource in that communication, you're going to win. So that a lot of those conversations now is just helping those homeowners, the sellers, the buyers in that process of overcoming and helping them be more certain of what to do. And it's funny you brought it up about Ritz-Carlton. On October 29th is our planning advance where we meet for one full day, our team, and we do an off-site meeting, and we just dive into our business and what we did well, and then what we're planning to do for next year. And one of our themes and one of our speakers is a Ritz-Carlton certified trainer, been through she's going to teach a class basically to us on that high-end customer service, experience-driven, business. That's one of our primary things right now is to do that, and figure that out. So I think
that's funny because that's the primary thing what I'm working on right now, literally as we speak.
That's cool. I like it.
Great minds think alike, Mr. Quintin.
That's right.
Great minds think alike.
That's good.
Well, I appreciate you. I am grateful for our friendship and the time that you spent with us today. It's always great to see you, Jeff, and to talk with you about what you're doing. And I'm glad to hear that the basics are still what you rock, because that's what it's about. I like the little things that you said there too about the texting and what you're saying. I wrote some things down. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, it's implemented. You'd be surprised, the communication on what you get and the responses you get with all of that.
I'm going to do it, and I'm going to circle back with you in a few weeks and let you know what happened.
Yeah, do it.
It's always great. I learn so much every time I have a new guest on the show, and Literally, like every day, I learn something every single time I do this. So it's fun.
That's awesome.
It was great to see you.
Yeah, it's an honor.
And
I'd love to pick your brain on what you're doing. And we got more into what I was doing, but I don't really want to hear it.
yeah, well, you know what? When you come to the city, let me know. I'll come meet you for a drink. Well, we have to get food with the drink because you can't just have a drink now. But we'll come in. Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Let me know when you'll be in town. Sometime in the next, October, November.
Okay, I will. We'll make it
All
a date.
right.
All right.
Sounds awesome. Thanks, Jeff.
All right. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
You too.